Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. We are delighted to have Keith Sayer joining us. He leads our Power Platform team, and he will be presenting on manufacturing KPIs and metrics. And just as a reminder, we are recording this webinar, and we will post it to our on-demand webinar library for you to review again or share with anyone. And you can find our library under our resources tab on our website at innovia.com. And we encourage you to ask questions during our presentation. So please feel free to type them into the questions box and we will answer them at the end of our session. So now I'm going to turn it over to Keith to kick off the presentation.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. We're going to be talking about the manufacturing KPIs and metrics that are part of the Innovia Manufacturing Report Pack and Dashboard. So I'm joined here today. My name is Keith Sayer. I'm the Power Platform Team Lead, and I'm joined here today with Ben Lane, Power Platform Consultant here at Innovia. So I'll give him just a moment to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Ben Lane, and I am a Power Platform consultant, and I primarily work with the Power Platform, and I designed a lot of the reports that you will be seeing today.
Thanks, Ben. So yeah, thanks for joining us all today. We're going to start by kind of starting at the big picture. So what is Power BI itself? You may be wondering this if you're kind of new to the architecture and then how this all works. So Power BI is a business intelligence platform, but what does that actually mean? Well, it's all about connecting the systems that you use that have all the data that you work with every day and form a complete nuanced picture of what your business is doing and the metrics that matter the most to you. So we'll see a lot of those as we go forward here in the manufacturing report pack. If you have interest, there is a recording for the finance pack as well that covers metrics that are related to more of the finance and sales side of the business. But today, we're really going to be talking about the Innovia manufacturing report pack. So all Power BI, that business intelligence platform where it brings all your data together, it can connect with hundreds of different services that are out there, including Business Central, which is what we're going to be talking about today, CRM, many different flavors of CRM, depending on which kind you use in your business. And also Dataverse. You may have heard of Dataverse. It's kind of part of the Microsoft platform. And it's a nice way to store some of your data in the cloud. If you can't find something that's already there in a connector that's been developed, it is possible also to make custom connectors as well. For any sort of API that you may have that you've developed in-house, anything that you have that's that has access that can pull data from it. So that's one of the really cool things about Power BI is it's very customizable. It's also very nice that there's a massive community out there of data analysts and designers. And so if you just kind of Google just about anything to do with Power BI, you will find some answers and some people kind of talking about the platform. That's what's really cool. And there are things like the Dynamics user group has, for example, a Power Platform section that includes Power BI. There are YouTube channels out there, all sorts of things. So if you want to be part of a big community of people who are working with data and designing reports, this is definitely a place where you want to be. Today, we're talking about the Innovia Manufacturing Report Pack. This is a pack that Innovia offers to customers with Business Central SaaS. It includes reports that cover things like the costs of your manufacturing operations, production, your production orders, your purchasing, and much more. So we'll be walking through that together in just a moment. So, but the key thing to remember is it's pre-configured with Business Central SaaS, but it can provide a model if you have like an on-premises solution as well. We can work with you to design something that will work in your environment.
These Power BI reports and dashboards can help you to quickly find the most important manufacturing KPIs. They help you to highlight anomalies and respond more quickly to deviations and variations in what you would expect. And they also allow you to drill into more detail on those anomalies when they happen. They also help you to visualize the data in more interesting and insightful ways. The main page you see here is what is called a dashboard. This is basically chosen visuals from various pages throughout the other reports. It's an easy, quick thing to pull up and visualize your data and the most important visuals from each report, rather than going to each report individually. It takes your manufacturing reporting to the next level and lets you get deeper insights into what's going on in real time. It lets you visualize your data in unique and non-traditional ways and enables you to make on-the-fly business decisions, perform quick check-in on your organization, and also gives you a deep dive into what is happening across all of the operations. Visuals on the dashboards are interchangeable and can be altered to reflect your needs as a company.
So now that we've taken a look at the dashboard within this pack, let's dive into the individual reports, and we'll kind of show you what's going on with each of them. So the first one we're going to be talking about is the production order report. It includes 3 different components that we'll kind of go through step by step. So this first one is an overview page that provides quick KPIs for all of the metrics that are important to your business. They help you pink flag an anomaly before it becomes a red flag situation. Things like the percent scrap and the percent late order give you a quick overview of how you're doing within the period that you've selected for your due date on your orders. You can quickly compare expected costs and margins to actuals by date range and see how production workload, that's what we're seeing here, is affected by month. And sort of the cool thing now is these are individual items here. If you click into them, now you can see metrics that are specific to that specific item. So you can get your production workload. You can see that of our quantity that we've got total, this particular item is about 50%, something like that, 33%. So that's kind of a cool thing about Power BI, is just about everything on the page is clickable, and it makes it so that it filters things down to just that item. So it's really pretty cool as far as the interactive elements of this report. Next, we have a page that is really intended to help you get this data in a quick and easy table format that you can easily export to Excel. So you can see we've got this particular table. What's cool is whatever you've got filtered, you can now export the data, and now you've got it into Excel. So that's one of the things that we often include in a report pack, is some kind of a page that lets you export the tabular data so that you can work with it with any other processes that you need. And the nice thing is it's pre-filtered based on any filter on this page. So you don't have to necessarily do that again. The production order history page gives us details about our orders and how much they've cost, how much they're expected to cost, and the component costs as well. So if we clear our filters here by item, you can see that we have all of these production orders that have come through. Their costs are noted, and then the standard cost is there as well. So it does a comparison for you, and you can see over here for the production orders within our selection, we've got some that are significantly over our cost expectation. That's what you're seeing there, the difference in cost. And then some of them, though, are right on track. So that's what we're seeing over here. So that's kind of a cool way to see, okay, so did I have an order that went kind of awry? And what does that mean exactly? So it's sliceable by date. Obviously, you can choose specific items. We can pick up a specific category of items and get more detailed information from there. So if you remember, I was talking about how one of the things that makes Power BI unique is the interactive nature of it. So this cost change analysis report really highlights that, because what we're seeing is two different tables that are really intended for you to interact with them. So the top chart lists all of our items where we've detected a variance in price from the last time that we've purchased it. So as you can see, there's maybe a $54 change in variance here. If you were to select it, you can see now all of the production BOMs that include this specific item. So now if we click it and we click over here, we would see all of the production order history associated with that BOM. So what that means is that if you have a change in price for one of your components, you can very quickly see what that impact is going to be. You can see the load of that particular item across your business, what you've done as far as production of it, and then that helps you understand, okay, so is this cost really going to be a big deal? Are we going to be running into trouble with that, or is it going to be okay? So that really helps you to kind of narrow down, prioritize, triage in these kind of situations where you're seeing a change in cost. The location and cost screen is all about giving you information about cost in relationship to multiple locations. So if you have several different manufacturing locations, this is a perfect fit for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be, because this can be a single location as well if you only have one location. But what this allows you to do now is to run the comparison. You can do specifically to this location. You can say that we want a specific type of item, and we can see where these costs are. So in this case, our costs are, we only have a cost associated with it. It doesn't have a budget, just because that specific one didn't have one listed. But if we can go into some of these items here, we'll just clear the filter. That should be fine. I'm not sure which item it was, but you can see all up. We can see that based on all of our production orders within these filters that we've set, we have a cost of that amount, 2.4 million. And the expected cost was 2.44. Yeah, it was 2.49. So there's a difference there in the cost amount. So this standard cost now comes through as kind of an average for what you've got. If you have a specific item selected, it's going to give you that cost, so you can see what it's supposed to be at any time. And we know exactly which types of orders are reflected here. So very cool, a way to kind of visualize and kind of drill into data and find out, how things are going at different locations with different items and all of that.
The production labor report that we've created includes 3 pages, and they track various things regarding your production labor. The first page is the production order costs, and similar to the other reports, you're able to slice this data or filter it by date. You can select a single day if you wanted, or a range of dates. And being able to track these past and current timeframes provides a lot of useful insight to where processes can be adjusted to improve efficiency and reduce costs. The production order cost page allows you to do this and compare order costs, operation costs, and route costs to help you find anomalies and pinpoint where those improvements could be made. Having these individuals also allows you to side by side compare along with breaking them down into the direct and overhead costs, which will also allow you to see the total expected costs that are exceeding or that are below what the actual costs are. And you can see where you're spending more than you expected to by operation, order, and route. And then the gauge displays kind of where you're at within that time frame. That 2.24K value is what your expected costs are going to be, and that 1.56 is what the gauge is filling up within that 2.24, and those are where your costs, your actual costs, are currently at. And then those cards on the left there just kind of illustrate that a little more. The cost page expands further on the previous page and offers insight into the quantity produced versus the quantity scrapped, which also is sliceable by work center and or machine center, so that you can compare it to other work centers, and the operations as well can be filtered in there too. If a deviation is identified in the welding on the previous page, you can then move to this page, select the welding operation, and drill in further to get the details into the scrap quantity, the run and setup times, and the products involved, and then determine if it needs to be addressed or if it's just a simple anomaly to be watched further in the future to decide if it's becomes an addressable problem. The time page allows you to further drill into the previous two pages. You can filter by route still and see more details about the runtime, setup times, and it also provides your efficiency. The runtime and the setup time matrices both show you details by product, and then you can expand down that product and see the route details, and those color formatting boxes change based on the variance between the actual time versus the expected time. That waterfall chart on the lower left shows your increases or decreases in efficiency compared to the previous period displayed in the chart. So from Q1 to Q3, your efficiency went down by 75. And then from Q3 to Q4, it went back up by 120. Within all of these reports, they also include the help boxes, which is that question mark in the upper right-hand corner. And that's just an overview of all of the visuals and where it's pulling that data from. And it's just a brief explanation also on what the variance levels are. As you can see on that bottom, the setup times for those colored boxes, the conditional formatting in the matrices is currently set at 50% variation, and that can be customized and have different target metrics based on an individual company's needs. Now we have the purchasing and usage report. The first page of this is all of your purchases, and it displays all of those statistics by that same. It allows you to do the selected date range, and you can also filter by vendor or category and item. Within that category and item slicer, you can further expand down those arrows on the left, so you have your categories, and then expanding those arrows gives you the item within those. different categories. The matrix table allows you to expand by vendor to see which document numbers are associated with the purchases, and the graph below compares purchases to sales over time. Hovering over a location icon on that map brings revenue and purchases based on that location. The usage page displays consumption data by date and item. Like all the other pages, we have the same slicers, and they should all be in sync too. So on that first page, the date one, if you select a certain date range, when you're moving to the next pages, it'll maintain that same date range. The tree map on the right shows items with the highest percentage of use, and the visuals below show the average sale, purchasing, and usage quantities. The orange line on the gauge chart in the lower right is a target usage amount, and the blue bar within that gauge shows where your average usage is at. So currently, based on all of the items, the usage is below what the target value is. The chart on the left shows unconsumed purchases and is sorted by least consumed down to most consumed. The inventory change page tracks key data that provides insight into how healthy your inventory practices are. A quick look map gives insight to where inventory is located and how much there is. Hovering over the locations on this map displays the turnover rate of that location and the remaining quantity. The line chart to the right of that is a quick way to identify how items are flowing through your warehouse over time. You can see that there's item purchasing, item sales, and item consumption all within the same visual to allow you to see if there's excessive purchasing and not enough consumption. Another great insight is the actual versus expected cost chart on the right. Being able to click on an item and then compare it to the purchase and sales quantity. The gauge is providing average inventory versus inventory turnover, and being able to see positive and negative adjustments on the same page helps illustrate what is happening in your warehouses.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing that with us. So now we're going to just do something a little bit different. We're going to cut over to talk to somebody who has been on the front lines, as it were, of manufacturing, and we're going to be talking to him about how this kind of data that we're talking about today can impact a manufacturing operation and what that means on a day-to-day level. So we're going to go and talk to John Grant. So we'll see you in just a moment over there. Hey everyone, we're here with John Grant from Innovia Consulting. We wanted to kind of get his perspective on the reports that you're seeing today and how those can impact your business. So tell us about yourself, John, and some of your experiences working with manufacturing systems and data.
Yeah, thanks, Keith. Yeah, again, my name is John Grant. Yep, but I've been working with Innovia for, 13, 14 years, but my career has been also involved with several different ERP products, manufacturing, supply chain, costing, all those fun things that happen out on the production floor. So lots of good opportunity here. One of the things I want to talk first about is when you're planning, what data do you want to capture? And I think every manufacturing company is a little bit different. One of the bullets I like to talk about is how do you know you had a good day or bad day, right? You might, but when you have a long running production order, let's say I've worked with companies that it takes 9 months to a year. It was a paper converting company. How do you know you had a good day or not? in those kind of environments? How do you know on your short run jobs that take 2 hours to run? How would you know? And data is the key. Analytics is the key. A quick way to look and analyze yesterday, the week before, look ahead, all those kind of things. And the strategy of how you build that data is to work with, obviously working with us would help. Because when you look at what do I want to capture, that's a discussion. I'm a manufacturing guy. What do I want to capture? I might want to capture machine utilization. I might want to capture scrap that we use. I might want to capture, I've got issues with more machines on the floor than people. And with this COVID situation, that's happened a lot with our customers. How do I schedule those people? What's my next week? How many hours do I have booked? Where do I need those people? All those kind of things come into play when I'm trying to use data to help make key decisions and be more efficient. Everybody is trying to be more efficient. For instance, when I set up I've seen too many times the routing. Routing is key. My bill of materials and routing. Bill of materials is pretty decent for most companies. It's a list of items you need. The analytics is, if we're recording, did we record more than we thought? Is our expected cost more than what our planned costs were? Planned material, did we, for certain jobs, are we constantly over consuming on certain items? That's good information. Maybe my bill needs to be updated because that's just the way it is. So I need to update my bill. That kind of information is what we think we're capturing and putting back to you in a nice visual presentation. The routing side is the key. When I see customers, there's a routing for costing, right? Accounting needs a routing, but you really want that routing to support manufacturing as well. Meaning, I want to break out machine. How long has the machine been running? Because it might run for 8 hours, but I only need people on there for 4 hours. How do I do that? How do I set that up to understand that my people can run 2 machines at a time? And it's how you build your routing. I need a setup operator for a half hour on this job. I want to break that out. I want to analyze my setup people usage because those are probably my higher paid people potentially on the floor. All those kind of things come into play when you initially set up your data, but you have to know where the target is on the back end. And too often I see routing set up to support accounting, and that's it. And those, yes, it does support accounting. It does its wonderful cost roll up and burden, but and absorption is a big key for accounting. But I want that routing to also give me data to help manage my facility. And I think we've got a new tools that you'll see that are quick, visual, flexible. It's not a printout that I got to flip through. And I think we're in my mind, at the infancy of where this is going to go. And that's part of the strategy.
Right. Yeah. So, so this new method that you're talking about of viewing the data, how does it differ from the way people would used to find that kind of data, or maybe they couldn't?
Well, yeah. Part of it is, and I'll pick on. Let's say we are, and I'm a lean proponent, so I'm not necessarily a fan of capturing actual times, but you do want to do that once in a while to validate your routings, correct? So in the past, people would record time methodically, but that data wasn't used a whole lot other than for absorption. We had 2,000 in payroll hours last week. We absorbed 1,900 against production. But I want to know as a production, where were those hours spent?
Mhm.
Which routing steps possibly took longer than we planned because I might need to tweak that routing to get it more precise because I'm looking for efficiencies. And in today's work environment, paging through a printout that's 50 pages was the old way to do it. I feel you printed it off. Every job was maybe recapped. You printed those all off on a Friday night. You gave a packet to the floor leaders, and they just tried to page through it and, I don't know, try and find the nuggets that help them make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
That has changed immensely into, I don't want to print out. I don't want to kill trees, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need visibility. I need color. I need graphs. I need visuals that I could put on a bulletin board and say, my CNC department, here's how we did last week. Now, you might argue that, well, it gets old after a while, but we have customers who will put monitors on the floor in by departments, and they will pull up much like what Keith's team has put together. They will pull those up on the floor and have it as a visual. What was our, what are the key pieces of data that department is interested in, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might be into, as a planner, if you think about this, my role as a planner is to get the product out by the due date. So when I run the production order, I might change the machine it's going to run on because the main one is booked. I'm going to run on a slower one, but it will get done, right? I mean, it will hit our due date. But the visibility into how often do I switch to that slower machine is lost because I'm the planner. I don't really care. I'm going to get it done. It's done. But it might be that, hey, you know what? 50% of the time you're moving it to a slower machine because of capacity constraints. Maybe you could justify we might need another CNC machine that is, got multiple heads on it that can do this because we are actually, it's costing us money to run it on a slower machine in a roundabout way. And that's kind of hidden in the statistics of how often does a planner move jobs around from the preferred way to do it to potentially a slower line, a slower machine, and that's lost in the shuffle. And that's key information that might justify that, hey, we need another one of those machines because this machine is constantly booked. Those kind of things are what's going to make a company more efficient. But you need that data easily. I don't have time as a leader, I don't have time to page through data, create a spreadsheet. And we see this a lot. We have customers who will, spreadsheets are fun. They're easy to use. You learn them, but it's very manual updating. It's taking the production from yesterday and entering it again. And that's considered a waste in lean. If you're entering that data in two different systems, that's a waste. That's an efficiency that can be gained by having the right tool. Let's enter it once and use it. That's the difference today versus, I feel, 10, 15 years ago. But we still see that. We still see spreadsheets where people are entering the same data that was just entered in the system. It was necessary, but we now have tools to jumpstart that. But again, I'm going to say each company, what do you measure to know you had a good day? That could be part of this also. We love to talk to you about that, but maybe there's, I've seen different methods. I worked with a company that made excavator buckets, right? So when you think, how do they know they had a good day? Well, they weighted each bucket. A large bucket was worth 10 points, a medium worth 5, a small worth whatever. At the end of the day, they wanted 75 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I worked on 5 large buckets, I get more points. But that was kind of I'll call it a rough cut low, but that was what they used to know if they had a good day or not. And each company, I feel, has different methods. The one I talked about, that they had 2,000 production orders to make a paper converting machine, if you can imagine that, right? So they measured how many drawings, each one of those was a drawing. Each day, how many drawings did they get done? It was a measurement unique to that capital, to engineer to order business. But every business, and that can be added to these kind of printouts easily, to take your measurement and come up with that and populate it in a visual, rather than having 10 reports to page through. It's right in front of you, and it's color, and it's green, it's yellow, it's red. Those kind of things can be done all good. That's where everything's moving, and it's a lot of good stuff.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for sharing your perspective, John. And it sounds like you're thinking that there's a lot of benefit to be gained from this type of approach in the manufacturing world. And so, yeah, we think. Yeah.
We can help, yeah, right. And I look at it as it's a discussion with you, the customer, to what's important to your manufacturing that would make a difference. Because we are hearing, I mean, you don't buy these systems to duplicate what you're doing. You buy them to improve what you're doing. And pulling the data out has to be quick and fast, and not where you're entering it again into another system to come up with the data. So that's the exciting part of where we're moving. I don't know, maybe in the future these systems will come with no reports, and you just you use these kind of tools to what do you need that will make a difference in your business.
Right. That's great. Well, thanks very much, John. And we'll get back to the presentation. And yeah, thanks for joining us and sharing your thoughts.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you guys. Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks. All right. Thanks for sharing all that with us, John. And we want to also say, hey, if you really like what you saw today as far as the manufacturing report pack, but you want to maybe do something more, we can help with that as well. So Ben briefly alluded to customizations. We also have an optional branding package that you can get with this that makes these reports match your company's look. We can customize the target metrics to meet your operational needs. Or if you kind of see something and you're like, hey, let's see if we can get that data in there and stuff like that, we can always help you do that, help visualize that, help understand how to get to that data, and help you get the reporting that you want. You can learn more about this and other Power Platform products from Innovia Consulting at www.innovia.com/powerplatform. But at this time, we want to open the door for any questions that you may have after viewing this webinar.
All right. Well, thank you, Keith and John and Ben, for the presentation. If anybody has any questions that they would like to get addressed, please go ahead and put them in the questions panel, and we'll go ahead and have the team answer them. All right, well, no questions have come through. So if anybody comes up with any questions later, or if you want to watch this again or review it with your team members, and you come across any questions that you want to have addressed with Keith and his team, feel free to reach out, and we can go ahead and get you hooked up with Keith and his team. All right, well, thank you, Keith, Ben, and John, for the presentation. It was very well informative. I hope everyone got a little bit of takeaway and is going to be contacting Keith and his team for a future project. And to let you know, we do have more events coming up on our website. You can visit our website at innovia.com for more webinars to register for. And also, don't forget about our training workshop page at innovia.com/workshops. We have a variety of workshops to fit your role, so check out the ones that are right for you and your team. And if you haven't heard the latest Innovia Conversation podcast, we have a library of podcast episodes for you to listen to, and you can learn more on our podcast page, and that's innovia.com/podcast. So browse through the selection and subscribe so you'll get notified when those new episodes air. And don't forget about our Innovia Customer Conference. You can find more information at innovia.com/conferences. Our conference is coming up on May 4th and 5th at the University of Notre Dame. This is a free event for you to attend, so make sure you read up on all the details and register today so you can come meet the Innovia team, our ISV sponsors, and clients. All right, well, we thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you soon at another Innovia webinar. Take care, everyone.